of February. And on the 3rd, this was last week, of February, Thursday, they took testimony. It happened so fast, I want to say, maybe 3 conservatives actually gave testimony on that bill. This bill is so dangerous, you guys. It's number one, it's unconstitutional. But read that news alert so that you know what it's about. Okay, these are our rights. We have a right to be involved in our government, right? We have a right to be involved in our government. We have a right to, we're a representative republic. So we vote for representatives. They have a duty to listen to us. Many of them don't want to.
Right.
Okay, so if they don't want to, what do?
Recall them, get them out.
We recall them, we change them, we have to change that dynamic. But right now with this bill that's going through the legislature, I'm talking about it because this is like happening right now. I would be remiss if I didn't mention this to you. Number one, it will change the relationship between the board and the superintendent. The superintendent is hired by the board. Okay, he's an employee of the board. Now, when the board passes policy, whether the superintendent likes the policy or not, the superintendent is supposed to follow the direction of the board. The board says, take all the flags out of the classrooms except for the United States flag and the flag of Oregon. That's what's supposed to happen, and it should happen ASAP. That didn't happen in Newburgh, Oregon. And so as a result, what did the board do? The board would do whatever you would do if you were an employer. The board said, okay, it's not working out. You're not following our direction. Well, fine, you're done. That's called at-will. We are an at-will state in the state of Oregon where if you're the employer, you can decide at any time that things aren't working out with your employee. I mean, what do you need? You need trust, and you need your employees to do what you ask them. They can always quit. It's a two-way street, right?
Yep.
But, it didn't work in Newburgh. So as a result, then it's been dominoes ever since. They tried to recall the school board members, et cetera, et cetera. It's a mess. But those school board, I call them the fearless four. There are 4 conservatives on that board, and they are not giving up. They are examples of what needs to happen all across this country. Yes! Okay, so why am I telling you about this bill? Because the bill will change that relationship between the board and the superintendent. The superintendents will have to give notice. If this passes, how much notice? A week? A month? How about 12 months?
What was the name of that bill?
It's 1521. It's a Senate bill, SB, S for Senate, B for bill, Senate bill, 1521. 1521 changes that relationship. So if you can't fire, oh, and by the way, that could change. Now, see, they're saying, well, we're easy to get along with. We're going to let you change that when you negotiate with that superintendent. So the superintendent then would have to agree that he could be fired at will. You know it. Oh, really? Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah, that's going to happen. Right. Never. Yeah. Okay, these people who are creating these laws, you guys, they don't even know what a law is. And if you read down on that bill, and by the way, it is attached to the news alert, so you want to click on it. Read the bill here. Always read the bill. Always read it. But you got to read the whole bill because it goes down further, and that's the part that's the worst. Could anything be worse than not being able to find the superintendent? Oh, you bet. Because here's what's worse. What's worse is that the superintendent will take orders from executive orders, I'm not going to remember it all, laws, or suggestions that come from the federal government or the state government.
You would think they already were by their
Well,
behavior.
the way they're acting, they already are, but when they want to ensconce this in law in the state of Oregon. Now, what's wrong with them trying to do that?
Everything.
It's illegal. They can't do that. They can't say that the local school board policy doesn't count. is next on their agenda? You think we'll need a board?
No.
We're not gonna need a board. Why would we need a board?
We'll have a state board.
Well, we have a state board. Oh, guess, okay. Get ready. You ready? Okay, who is the superintendent of public instruction in the state of Oregon?
The governor.
The governor, okay? And who appoints the deputy superintendent of public instruction, who is the manager, if you will,
Governor.
of the Oregon Department of Education? The governor. Now that's in laws. That happened in 2011. Where were we? I heard about it after the fact. They could do whatever they want because we've let them take over. I mean, listen to these speeches here.
Well, all their sessions are closed door, I'm just saying.
I know, I understand that, but
Now.
okay. So anyway, moving on. So that board answers to the governor. The deputy superintendent of public instruction answers to the superintendent of public instruction, who is the governor. And if they take away the right of a school board to pass policies and have the superintendent, you know, like do what they say, then I guess the governor runs everything. And we have absolutely no say. Now, we're just circling the wagons, you guys, because they've already had the public testimony, and we need tons of letters, calls. I want to just bury that freaking Capitol building in calls and emails. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is, it's unconstitutional.
Do they listen? That's my question though. Yeah.
I beg your pardon?
Do they listen to letters and calls?
Well, personally, I have not been a fan of it. Right now, we don't have any option. We do have an attorney who's advising us. Yeah, well, that takes forever too. I mean, it'll be in place, and they will have gotten rid of all of the school board members. You know, 2 years later, then we sue them. So we just, going down there and rallying. I need to finish with my presentation, so we can take some questions and get feedback. But we're working with Free Oregon, get all these organizations. They've contacted us, they want to work with us on this project, but we got to do it. Going down there to the Capitol, if the doors were open and if we could go inside, that would be, a great option. I'm not gonna call on, members of our community to get out of their jobs or to drive a long distance, go down there and not be able to go into the building.
Maybe we could get truck drivers to drive us.
We're working on all these different.
Hey, truck drivers!
We can't take the rest of this workshop to discuss that. But anyway, I just want to let you know we're working on it, okay? You can always email us,
Free Oregon is planning next week, they don't know which day, they're gonna have trucks and everybody. So we all need to show up next week.
Well, it's gotta be about this bill.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm in contact with them. I'll find out what they're doing.
When is the final for this bill?
Well, we don't know that yet. You mean when they're gonna take a floor vote? We don't know that yet. But it's gone through committee already.
And it's passed already.
3 days. Okay, next. So your rights. So since I don't have the ability to get on the internet because it's restricted here, I can't see what you're seeing. So I need to ask your help. Did you get me on here? No. Okay. So we have several pages. Oh, great. Okay, so the first thing you see is the join us page, and scroll down to the very bottom. Close to the bottom. So we're into parents. No. Okay. All right. Okay. So go past the critical race theory section, and then you'll see parents' rights in K through 12 schools.
What website are we on?
The one that's on the QR code right here.
The QR code. Yeah.
Parents' rights in ed.gov.
So I'm going to talk to you about what you can find on the internet. So go. Naomi Wolf speaks with Suzanne Gallagher. Anybody know Naomi Wolf? Okay. So what you guys need to realize is this is a woman who worked in the White House, the Clinton White House, a little while ago. I've had some great conversations with this gal. She's basically a civil libertarian. So she's all over what we're doing. She loves what we're doing. And she's helped us with some things. So she did an interview with me, and you want to watch that interview on our website. Bottom line, parents parents' rights is the issue. It's all about parents' rights. It's not up to us as individuals or as a government to decide what people should think. And of course, we know the critical race theory is trying to do that, to decide what people should think. Social emotional learning, all of this teaching that they're doing is defining the way children think. That's not their role. That's not their job. Their job is to teach academics. The next section has to do with your rights. So there's, if you click on these things, it'll take you to, for example, a resource materials on our website about your rights and about what you can do. I'm not going to pass out pieces of paper when it's right here, okay? The school board, it's your school board. If your school board isn't listening to you, find a replacement. I mean, that's the bottom line. You can know about everything that's going on, but if you cannot change anything without the board has to back you. If you don't have a board that listens to you, you can be at those school board meetings every single week. Now, it's good to monitor your board to see what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with that. But what you should be doing now is organizing, finding candidates to run for school board in the next cycle. I did a podcast, I want to say a month ago, after Glenn Youngkin won his race in Virginia. And basically it states that 2022 is a gigantic year, and who is going to drive the outcome of all the elections all across this country in 2022? It's going to be people that we have in this room, just like this in every single state, who have all of a sudden realized, I've been had.
Yeah.
No more of this. And that means that systemic complacency is going to be cured. You know what I mean? We've had systemic complacency. So we've got, if we're going to take our schools back, that's exactly what we have to do. We have to take them back. Now, individuals ask, they say, well, what are our rights? What are our rights? Well, your rights are to opt your children out. On this landing page, we have an opt-out form. We have actually, 5 or 6 different opt-out forms, but this one encompasses all the issues. You can give an opt-out form to the school. We prefer opt-in for anything that's controversial, such as CSE. But what about CRT? What about SEL? All those topics are taught in every single subject. And Oregon State is the leader in this arena. We were one of the very first states that passed a law requiring mandatory comprehensive sexuality education K through 12. Most Oregonians, when they read something on Facebook, I'm on Facebook way too much, on the internet, way too much. How about you? And I see comments from Oregonians, and they read something that we post about California. And they say, well, look at this, guys. Look what's going on in California. Pretty soon it's going to be here in Oregon.
Right here.
Guess what? California, you don't have anything. You don't have anything. We're way ahead of California. Yeah, at least 5 years. We passed CSE, K through 12 mandatory, 5 years before they did in California.
What is that?
I'm sorry?
What was that?
We passed mandatory comprehensive sexuality education 5 years before they did in
I
California.
just wanted to.
And we passed it 10 years before Washington State.
Yeah.
Okay, and the Washington State people are more awake, it appears, from our perspective anyway, than we are in Oregon.
We're looking at the history.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
They don't.
so they're smart enough to go like, crap. We don't want what you have. Anyway, they filled the Capitol with 3,000 people plus, a year ago, to tell their governor, don't sign this into law. And of course the governor didn't care, which is not Oregon. Because they're all buddies.
And they're funded by Soros, probably.
Yeah. So let's open it up for questions because this is general stuff, and I want to bring our Scappoose. She was on another board. Lisa was on a different board. She was the Scappoose school board.
Yes, I know. So, one of the things, being a former board member, I can tell you, being on the inside, they want us, as the state, I should say, wants us to just sit there and be compliant and go along with everything. For example, the sexuality education that's been passed and written into law, that you just do it. Oh, we have to do it, we're gonna lose our funding. Lies. And this is why you need to run for school board. A school board could say, you know what, we're not gonna teach